We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. It is September 5th, 8 a.m. Just got off work. Pretty chill night. Not too much stuff, so that's always good. Just been chilling. I got a text from the garage basically saying that my car's finished, so hopefully they fixed it and I can get it back on the road and not have to worry about that anymore. It's just kind of gloomy and rainy today. I am working Labor Day, which kind of sucks, but at the same time it doesn't really, because I get holiday pay, which is nice. So hopefully that'll bump my paycheck up pretty good. I hope you guys have an awesome Labor Day. And let's get on with the show. Now, today we are covering, and you can Google this yourself if you want. This is a actual document from the United States Department of Justice. Justice News Department announces the largest healthcare fraud settlement in its history. And you can probably guess, somewhat guess which company it is. It's Pfizer. So this is not medical misinformation. This is an actual document. They were set to pay $2.3 billion for fraudulent marketing. Now, is this someone you trust putting something into your veins? I think not. But we'll delve into it, and I'll comment here and there on what I think about it. Washington. American pharmaceutical giant Pfizer Incorporated and its subsidiary Pharmacia. I believe in the Bible it says something about not trusting Pharmacia, and this is literally spelt Pharmacia. So, yeah, that's not creepy at all. And Upjohn Company Incorporated. I've never heard of that company. I'll have to look into it. Hereinafter, together, Pfizer have agreed to pay $2.3 billion, the largest healthcare fraud settlement in the history of the Department of Justice, to resolve criminal and civil liability arising from the illegal promotion of certain pharmaceutical products, the Justice Department announced today. Pharmacia, I'm just going to call it Pharmacia. You can't make this shit up, dude. I swear, even if you're not Christian or religious, they use the Bible as, literally a handbook for the apocalypse. And Upjohn Company has agreed to plead guilty to a felony violation of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act for misbranding Bextra. I've never heard of that. I'm going to have to look into that, too, with the intent to defraud or mislead. Bextra is an anti-inflammatory drug that Pfizer pulled from the market in 2005 under the provisions of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. A company must specify the intended use of a product and its new drug application to FDA. Once approved, the drug may not be marketed or promoted for so-called off-label uses An example, any use not specified in an application and approved by FDA. Pfizer promoted the sale of Bextra for several uses and dosages that the FDA specifically declined to approve due to safety concerns. Not that I trust the FDA completely, but if the FDA is like, brah, this shit's unsafe, yet they continue to do it anyways, the company will pay a criminal fine of $1.19 billion, the largest criminal fine ever imposed in the United States for any matter whatsoever. Pharmacia and Upjohn will also forfeit $105 million for a total criminal resolution of $1.3 billion. In addition, Pfizer has agreed to pay $1 billion to resolve allegations under the Civil False Claims Act that the company illegally promoted 4 drugs, Bextra, Geodon, an antipsychotic drug. I've actually heard of Geodon. I know someone who's close to me who's on it. Zyvox, an antibiotic, and Lyrica, an anti-epileptic drug, and caused false claims to be submitted to the government health care programs for uses that were not medically accepted indications and therefore not covered by those programs. A civil settlement also resolves allegations that Pfizer paid kickbacks to healthcare providers to induce them to prescribe these, as well as other drugs. The federal share of the civil settlement is $6 million. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. It's like almost $7 million. Let's just say that, because I'm not going through every single number. And the state Medicaid share of the civil settlement is pretty much $3 million. It's more than that. It's $331 million. This is the largest civil fraud settlement in history against a pharmaceutical company. As part of the settlement, Pfizer also has agreed to enter into an expansive corporate integrity agreement with the Office of the Inspector General of the Department of Health and Human Services. That agreement provides for procedures and reviews to be put in place to avoid and promptly detect conduct similar that which gave rise to this matter. Whistleblower lawsuits filed under the qui tam provisions of the False Claims Act. That's legalese, by the way, qui tam. I'm guessing that's Latin for something. I don't know. If you know Latin, let me know. That are pending in the District of Massachusetts, the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and the Eastern District of Kentucky. Hey, I'm from Kentucky, triggered this investigation. I didn't know that we took part in that. As a part of today's resolution, 6 whistleblowers will receive payments totaling more than $102 million from the federal share of the civil recovery. So, hey, for whistleblowing, it didn't turn out well for Snowden or, what's his name? But paid out for them $102 million. Hell yeah. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts, the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and the Eastern District of Kentucky, and the Civil Division of the Department of Justice handled these cases. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts led the criminal investigation of Bextra. The investigation was conducted by the Office of Inspector General for the Department of Health and Human Services, the FBI. Oh, wow, they did something good for once. Imagine that. The Department of Health and Human blah, blah, blah. FBI, the Defense of Criminal Investigative Services, DCIS, the Office of Criminal Investigations of the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, the Veterans Administration, the VA, Office of Criminal Investigations, the Office of Inspector General for the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, the Office of the, this is just, basically a shit ton of people fucking investigated Pfizer, which is hilarious. So this is a quote, Today's landmark settlement is an example of the Department of Justice's ongoing and intensive efforts to protect the American public and recover funds for the federal treasury and the public from those who seek to earn profit through fraud. So these people are fraudulent, untrustworthy. It shows one of the many ways in which the federal government, in partnership with its state and local allies, can help the American people at the time when budgets are tight and healthcare costs are increasing, said Associate General Tom Pirelli. That sounds familiar. I don't know why, but that name sounds familiar. This settlement is a testament to the type of broad, coordinated effort among federal agencies and with our state and local partners that is at the core of the Department of Justice's approach to law enforcement, unquote. Quote, this historic settlement will return nearly $1 billion to Medicare, Medicaid, and other government insurance programs, securing their future for the Americans who depend on these programs, which is me. I mean, I'm on Medicare or Medicaid, I can't remember which one, said Kathleen Sebelius, Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services. The Department of Health and Human Services will continue to seek opportunities to work with its government partners to prosecute fraud wherever we can find it. But we will also look for new ways to prevent fraud before it happens. Healthcare is too important to let not a single dollar go to waste. Quote, illegal conduct and fraud by pharmaceutical companies puts the public health at risk. Exactly. Because you're like fucking people up, dude. Corrupts the government billions of dollars, corrupts the medical decisions by healthcare providers and costs the government billions of dollars, which would be us, the taxpayers, who have to pay that, said Tony West, Assistant Attorney General of Civil Division. Quote, the civil settlement and plea agreement by Pfizer represent yet another example of what penalties will be faced when a pharmaceutical company puts profits ahead of patient welfare. Well, we all know Big Pharma, it's all about that money. And sadly, it's not even really about the money anymore. It's Agenda 21, man. It's about control now. So will this investigation happen nowadays? Doubtful. Unless the people literally scream at the top of their lungs, and which, I mean, I don't know. I try not to be black-pilled and I try not to depress you all, but it does say in the SPARS document that the people do come out on top. So, I mean, I always try to remind myself that when I'm feeling black-pilled, that there is a white pill. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll do a whole episode on the SPARS. It's either the SPARS document or the SPARS exercise or something like that. It's insane. The size and seriousness of this resolution, including the huge criminal fine of $1.3 billion, reflect the seriousness and scope of Pfizer's crimes, said Mike Lukes, acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts. Pfizer, quote, Pfizer violated the law over an extensive period of time. Furthermore, at the very same time, Pfizer was in our office negotiating and resolving the allegations of criminal conduct by its then newly acquired subsidiary, Warner Lambert Pfizer, was itself in its other operations violating those very same laws. Today's enormous fine demonstrates that such blatant and continued disregard of the law will not be tolerated. Yeah, these motherfuckers are just laying into Pfizer, dude. Love it. Although these types of investigations are often long and complicated and require many resources to achieve positive results, the FBI will not be deterred from continuing to ensure that pharmaceutical companies conduct business in a lawful manner, said Kevin Perkins, FBI Assistant Director, Criminal Investigative Division. Quote, this resolution protects the FDA in its vital mission of ensuring that drugs are safe and effective. By the way, like I said, I don't trust the FDA as far as I could throw them. When manufacturers undermine the FDA's rules, they interfere with a doctor's judgment and can put patient health at risk, commented Michael L. Levy, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Quote, the public trusts companies to market their drugs for the uses that the FDA has approved and trusts that doctors are using independent judgment. Yeah, sadly, they've literally shut down doctors and taken their medical records when those doctors use their independent judgment. Federal health dollars should only be spent on treatment decisions untainted by misinformation from manufacturers concerned with the bottom line. I love it. Talking about misinformation from the manufacturers. I wish you could hear that going on today, you know. Quote, this settlement demonstrates the ongoing efforts to pursue violations of the False Claims Act and recover taxpayer dollars for the Medicare and Medicaid programs, noted Jim Zerhusen, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky. So he's a Kentucky boy. This historic settlement emphasizes the government's commitment to corporate and individual accountability and to transparency, wouldn't that be nice, throughout the pharmaceutical industry. Transparency. I wish we could have transparency on the whole V word that's going on today, said Daniel R. Levinson, Inspector General of the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Quote, the corporate integrity agreement requires senior Pfizer executives and board members to complete annual compliance certifications and opens Pfizer to more public scrutiny by requiring it to make detailed disclosures on its website. So there you go, people. You can look up on their website too the disclosures apparently. We expect this agreement to increase integrity in the marketing of pharmaceuticals. Quote, the off-label promotion of pharmaceutical drugs by Pfizer significantly impacted the integrity of TRICARE. I've never heard of TRICARE. I'm not sure what that is. The Department of Defense's healthcare system. Well, there you go. Said Sharon Woods, Director, Defense Criminal Investigative Service. Quote, this illegal activity increases patients' costs, so that sucks. By them being criminals, the patient pays more. Literally. Threatens their safety and negatively affects the delivery of healthcare services to the over 9 million military members. So there you go. They always like to pull at the heartstrings, you know, especially using the military. Today's charges and settlement demonstrate the ongoing commitments of the Defense Criminal Investigative Service and its law enforcement partners to investigate and prosecute those that abuse the government's healthcare programs at the expense of the taxpayers and patients. Now that right there should get your blood boiling, man. It makes me so mad that, like, we are paying for our own abuse. Talk about Stockholm Syndrome, people. We're paying for our own death and demise, you know. By the way, I'm not a medical physician or doctor, so this is just all opinion. Federal employees deserve health care providers and suppliers, including drug manufacturers, that meet the highest standards of ethical and professional behavior, said Patrick E. McFarland, Inspector General of the U.S. Office of Personnel Management. Quote, today's settlement reminds the pharmaceutical industry that it must observe those standards and reflects the commitment of federal law enforcement organizations to pursue improper and illegal conduct that places healthcare consumers at risk. Kind of sounds to me like Pfizer hasn't learned its lesson. Healthcare fraud has a significant financial impact on the Postal Service, This case alone impacted more than 10,000 postal employees on workers' compensation who were treated with these drugs, said Joseph Finn, special agent in charge for the Postal Service's Office of Inspector General. Last year, the Postal Service paid more than $1 billion in workers' compensation benefits to postal employees injured on the job. You're gonna see a lot of stuff like that. You're once this wizard potion starts kicking in, especially with these booster seats. You're gonna see a lot of motherfuckers, man, just dropping like flies. You're gonna see people. You're gonna see businesses go down. Um, Especially when they start mandating this stuff. It's not gonna be too cool, man. You're gonna see it. We're gonna be living in a weird fucking time. And the thing is, man, I hear all these people going, well, so and so. I know so and so who drank the wizard potion. I know I drank the wizard potion. I'm fine. Yeah, I've been listening to multiple doctors. By the way, a lot of my information, man, is from doctors, man. Check out like a podcast like Ripple Effect. He has a doctor on there like every other episodes. How the dude has not been yanked from YouTube blows my fucking mind. Um, every other fucking episode is like a doctor talking about the beer bug. Um, and honestly, that's why I've been talking about it here recently. I mean, pretty much the whole channel, we've been literally covering just the beer bug for the most part because it's always there's so much to talk about, man. And it's like literally in your face. We are living through a conspiracy. Um, and it's kind of hard not to talk about it when it's like, to me, it's the biggest threat right now against freedoms, against lives. I mean, I think QAnon is a psyop. I don't even pay attention to that shit. I did a couple episodes kind of getting into it. I never was like a QAnon guy. I did find it interesting, but I find every conspiracy interesting. But I believe QAnon is a distraction. It's a psyop, and it's to get people to just like accept fate, their fate. Because the whole trust the plan, basically saying don't do anything. But to me, this is such an important issue, and I try not to be a broken record. I try to switch it up and do fun episodes and paranormal stuff, stuff to distract you from this hellish, apocalyptic, dystopian future that we're slowly being drug into, sadly. My thing is, I try not to be black-pilled, but I do think people should know. I think it's important. I believe personally, like everyone usually has a family member or a friend who's kind of blue-pilled, and sending this out to them might change their mind. Because, I mean, especially with your health and something that you are literally going to get injected into your veins, why on earth would you trust literally a criminal? That's not even a conspiracy. I just read the whole document. Literally a criminal injecting you with something. That sounds just as crazy as like, oh, I went out to the alleyway today and I seen this basically a criminal or a druggie or something, and I let him just inject me with something. You would look at me if I told you that and be like, are you fucking nuts? And you'd probably want to smack the dog shit out of me, and I wouldn't blame you. Yeah, we're going to put out an episode 2 on the Tuskegee experiment because I know a little bit about it. I know like the overall basic story, but I want to delve into it deeper, and we're going to do an episode on that too. I mean, I'm just going to keep putting episodes out on this subject because I think it's important, man. I know when the pandemic first started and shit, I ain't gonna lie, like I dodged this subject as much as possible because it was literally stressing me out. but I kind of had to put my big girl panties on and go, look, someone needs to talk about this, and especially with my channel literally being called Conspiracy Corner Podcast, it would be kind of ridiculous for me not to talk about it. As much as it was stressing me out, and as much as it does stress me out, someone's got to say something. Someone's got to. It helps me at least say, well, I tried. I tried to warn the people, And people can call me Chicken Little. That's fine. I'll gladly be Chicken Little. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Please like and share, subscribe. Yeah, I appreciate it, and you all have a good day.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.